Hey everyone, sorry about the mess, but this is what it looks like the day before a sale. I I have everything everywhere trying to craft and create, and I made these little hidden paperclip notepads with a pocket. And I knew what I wanted to do because I had all of this wonderful calculator tape that I had tea-dyed. Yeah, I think tea-dyed. And I just loved how it looked. So what I did was I just took strips of it. You can use anything. It doesn't have to be calculator tape. You just take strips of your paper, and I laid mine in the water, so now it's wet. But I just staggered it, and I don't know how long these are. Let's use some that's not wet. I don't know how long these are. I'm guessing probably about 10, 12 inches. Yeah, they're 11 and a half inches. That doesn't matter. You just layer them up how you want them. And I took 4 pieces, I believe. Nope, yeah, 4 pieces. I just staggered them how I wanted them, and then I just folded them in half so that it made a double deal. So you end up with 8 pages. Basically, you have some short ones, you have long ones. You know, that's up to you how big you want this. It doesn't matter. That's just only thing that matters is that you make it short enough to fit in your journal. I was making these for a larger journal, and well, I say a normal size journal, 8.5 by 11. If you were making it for like a 6-inch journal, you would probably want to make your strips 10 inches. That way, when you folded them, they would be short enough to fit in your journal. But today I wanted to show you how I did these. Super easy. I just went to looking how to make a hidden paperclip, and I got the idea of the pocket from Pink Monarch Prints. I'll try to link that video below. Try to remember. I can link it if I remember. And then I just kind of modified it to fit how I wanted. And because I was putting a notepad in here, I had to kind of adjust how I did the top, and I'll show you as I'm building it why I say that. But I think these are so neat. Look how they look, how they are on a, I think they look great on a page. Let's just get, this is one of my normal size journals. So you just hook it over the page. And because I've put that thread there, you can't make it go all the way down, but it still looks very nice. It lays neatly, and you have a little piece that comes up above your journal. You know, I always like things sticking up anyway, and there's enough of the paperclip on there that you don't have to worry about it coming off. It's on there very well. And then you have the little tag here. You have your little charm. It's just, I just really like it. And then on the back side, it looks like this. I think that looks so nice, so neat, really pretty. I love it. Okay, so like I say, just get you some strips of paper, fold them over like you want, and how we make the topper is, if she gave instructions, I missed the length. I know that hers were wider than mine. I made mine 2¼ inch wide because that's how wide my calculator tape was. This one's a little wider, but most of them I made exactly 2¼ to fit my calculator tape. So if you're doing a notepad or a notebook, just basically whatever size that is, if you can do the width that you want. I think after I've made a couple of these, the length that I want, because I made these 10¼ 10½. I think I want them to be 10 inches long. I think that will be a perfect length. I don't think I'll have to trim any off if I do it that length. So I've got one here, and I think it's a little bit longer than 10, so I'm going to trim it down to 10. And I may still have to trim a little bit more, I'm not sure. If we do, it's not a big deal. And just because, you know, I want to show you about your waterfall, I'm going to grab some different paper, not the calculator tape. I have some marbled papers here that has tears. So I'm going to, these are 8.5 by 11, normal sheet of paper. So you can tear them however you want. I'm probably going to tear them, let's tear on the short side this time. I'm just going to take a ruler, nothing precise, and tear. So then what I do is I just stagger these. That one's a little bit, this one's a little bit wide, so I'm just going to cut it. Well, I may not. I may not cut it. I may leave it. But I just stagger these to look how I want them to. And I like the ends to be torn looking versus, you know, straight. So I'm going to tear the ends just a little bit. I'm going to keep a couple of these that I tore off. Maybe stamp a number to decorate the back with. Probably forget before I get to that step, but you could always ink. I'm not going to do that this time just to save time. I'm just layering it up. Not paying any attention about the tops, just looking at the bottom, how I want it to be. And so I'm just going to fold it in half. And that's a pretty thick one there because I've got normal paper. So I think I'm going to take off 2 of these and just use, ooh, that's pretty, isn't it? Just use 3 of them. That makes it a little bit thinner, a little bit more manageable in your book. Okay, so there's our paper on the piece that we're going to make out of the top. The main thing here that I've noticed is whatever size is your paper clip, and mine is 1 3/4. So you want to double that for your only score. And you don't even have to do this part, but I think it works a little better. So 1 3/4, that's 3.5. So I'm going to score this at 3.5. And this will be the only time I score. Okay. I'm going to fold that down, and whatever you want your outside to be, your outside pocket, so I wanted that to show, that's what you're going to fold down. So this side will be what shows on my pocket. So that's what I'm going to fold down. So you fold that down, put the long side of your paper clip over it like that. And then you just fold this part up to meet, you know, so that it's even with your paper clip. Turn it over. And you're going to, now you have your short side, so you're going to flip this up to meet the short side. And there'll be a small gap here because there should be with the paper clip being different size. Main thing to keep in mind, you want to keep your edges straight. Okay, so then you fold it up. So you're just kind of doing a zigzag. You start this side, fold, flip it over, fold, flip it back over. And we're going to fold down to the top of our paper clip. And we're going to fold up to meet the bottom. And that was the perfect length, really. I may cut off just a tiny bit more, but this was 10 inches, so maybe if you did 9 3/4, it would be perfect. So I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this because this is going to be our pocket, and I don't really want it to be up that high. So I've just trimmed a little bit of it off. And that's what your pocket's going to look like. Now, before I do anything else, there's a few things I want to do to this to decorate. First off, I do have a page edger, and I'm going to just put a nice edge onto this. Just a little something. Fancy up that pocket a bit. I ended up with an extra little piece, so I'm just going to snip that off. Can't even tell. Okay, so now that's the top of our pocket. I'm going to ink it. Okay, so mainly I ink it with it folded like this. The only thing I folded up the back or unfolded it just to get around. But for the most part, I just inked it while it was folded. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to open up this. This is our little pocket on the front. Open this up. I'm going to take out my paper clip. I guess you don't even really need to do that. Yeah, you do. I'm going to take out my paper clip, flip it over, and this flap where the paper clip was at, I'm going to round those edges. You don't have to do this part. I just thought it looked nicer this way. Ink those real quick. Okay, I'm going to fold it back down just like I had it. And I'm going to put my paper clip back in. Making sure the long side is away from your pocket. Okay, so there we go. Folding it back up. Next step. I took my pieces that I folded. I put them up in here. You can leave your paper clips in for this, or you can take them out. Totally up to you. I put in my pieces like this. Went to the center. There's my center crease of my waterfall. And there's my crease. So I took my stapler. And I wanted the outside to be the flat part. Like this. So I just slid that under there. And if it doesn't fit, this one actually opens up, but you can kind of, I just put in 2 staples on the seam. And there's your waterfall, ready to go. Now what I did, because here's your paper clip. It's rounded, where the rounded corners are, there's your paper clip. Slides down over your pocket like this, okay? I did decorate this piece, but when you do this, see, it kind of folds open. I mean, we'll have the pocket glued down, but it kind of folds open, and I wasn't crazy about how it laid, even though when it's in your journal, you're not going to be able to tell it. It's going to be flat. So what I did was 2 things. I put the little eyelets in, and then I put the string, and that helped to hold it down. Also put an eyelet at the bottom of my pocket where I could hang a charm. So we'll do that next. And you can glue, probably should glue before we do this step. So I'm going to glue my pocket up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the 3 eyelets. I used the smaller one for this. And then I went just on the inside of that crease and did a hole on each side. You don't even have to put eyelets in. You could just do this actually without, you could just put the holes and not worry about the eyelets, really. But I liked how they look, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in. Now we finished that part. I need to glue this, glue in my staple. And you could do this at any step. This is just when I did it. So I like to use some double-sided tape along with my glue. I don't really know why. I think because the first time I ever seen this done was scrapbooking with me, and they used double-sided tape and glue, and I just have always thought it held really well, and I've done the same. So you just fold that up like so, and then we're gonna glue that to the inside. Now, one more thing I did do is I put a piece of the double-sided tape across the top of my notepad. Again, that's not something you have to do. I didn't do it on one, I did it on the other, and to me they lay both just wonderful. So let's not do it on this one. Next thing I did, you could do this with ribbon. I did it with twine just because it's neutral color and it went with everything, and I could, you know, work a little faster with what I was thinking. So basically, you take your twine, you're going to start from the inside, go across the top, put it back down, and you're going to make sure that your ends are even here, pretty much even. But you don't want this tight. Leave yourself some room like that, okay? And then open up your flap, cross them like so, and bring them around to the back. Again, don't make it super tight, because what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over like so and keep it on the back of it. But by starting it on the front, it keeps your two sides closer together, helps that to lay down flatter, and it just gives a nice look on both sides, okay? So after you've threaded it through and crossed it, I'll do that one more time. So I threaded it through to the inside, crossed it, closed my lid, and then put my thread on the back side, or my twine, and pulled on the ends to make it tight. Not super tight, you don't want to cut your paper. And then what I did was I just flipped it over, and you can tie yourself a bow here. I like the look of it better over to one side, so I just kind of threaded one up from underneath, one from the top, just to give it that twined, you know, like it had been wrapped several times. And then I just tied a knot, but you could do a bow, you could do anything. But I'm just going to tie a knot. The good thing is if the placement of it is not where you want it, because it's not glued to anything, you can always open it up, pull it back over, and then move it, you know, adjust it to whichever side you want. I like it where it is, so I'm just going to fold it back down. I like that, you know, both of the strings show. I like it to be a little twisted looking like that. So I'm going to leave mine like that. I'm going to cut some of that off and just leave a little knot right there. I like how that looks. I might just do it like that. How about that? All right. So there you have it. That is basically all there is to it. I would hang a charm from this one, decorate the back a little bit. I just took some of this charm is actually from Wendy Rooster, the papered rooster. I got that from one of her sales. I may have another one here. Thought I did. I do. So I'm just going to put it through on the front, and they're really cute. She does these really well. It's just got a little, like a little gear, an owl, a stamped piece of fabric, I thought that was pretty, like a little tag. You could take it off, make a label out of it, and then a piece of lace. So I liked how that looked. I thought that that matched well, so I'm going to put that on the front. Isn't that cute? And then I would probably put a little, what I've been doing is I use some of my stickers that Joe got me for my birthday, and probably put one right there. Maybe we could stamp a little number. I'm probably going to go ahead and use another little sticker just because I have so much stuff out on my desk and I don't want to get my stamps out as well. So I'm going to do something like this. And then I have some key-dyed little tags. I'm going to put one of those right in here. Just like that. I left the string on it because I just like the extra. On the back, I did the same thing. I put a sticker. I also put some of my, I have some stamped, you know, just scrap pieces. Oh, that's what we were going to do. Let's say we. I kept these little pieces off of my paper because I thought maybe I would stamp a number and put back there. So let's do that. Then I also stamped on the other one. I liked how that looks, so I may just do it on this one as well. Maybe use this butterfly just to give it a little bit different look. You can't see it that well because my black ink's about out, but I can see the butterfly impression, so that is perfect. So there we have another one, just like that. This one's a little smaller, a little shorter than these, but same concept. And these are so fun, so easy to make, and you can adjust them to whatever colors you want. Use whatever kind of paper you want in it. Like I say, I used this purple because I knew that was the color I had, and I thought that might look nice. Probably overkilled it on the purple, but I do like these. I am going to make one for my little neutral color journal. I thought I would use maybe some blacks. These are gray and kind of charcoal. I had some different color of black, but I just cut strips. That would look nice. I think that would be a good one. Has some that on the inside, but just cut strips and play and have fun. Do like I did. Take my idea and make it your own. I hope that you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope that you'll pop in and say hi tomorrow, or it may be today. I'm not really sure when this video will come out, but I hope that you will stop in and say hi and let me know what you think of this. Is this something that you would do? Do you like this? It would even look nice on a cover, wouldn't it? I like that. I even like that. Very pretty. So much fun. So easy to make. And a great way to use that dyed paper and to use paper scraps. I hope you guys will give it a try. Thank you for watching. God bless, and I will see you next time. Bye.